Welcome to LFFL Primetime, everything you need to know in the LFFL in about 10 minutes. So let's look at week 11, look ahead to week 12, and of course, we will start in the original league. Eric Warner, my good friend Eric, last year's player of the year. That is right, dominating. I'm going to go with dominating this league right now. Third time he's been the high scoring team this season, had the highest score this week, 195 points in a demolition of Matt Merrill. Eric opens up a 2-game lead on the field right now. That's because Phil was able to hand his brother Greg a loss, doubles him up in this one, 148-72. Andy with a win over Todd. Miles with a win over Josh. Bill is able to beat myself. And what that means is this. Your playoff picture is starting to firm up a little bit. Eric cruising towards a bye week. Now 2 games up on the field, is the highest scoring team in the league. Looking real strong for that bye week, 2 up with 3 to play. We have a big battle for that second one though. Greg's loss opens this thing wide up for Phil and Andy. All 3 teams are 7-4, but both Phil and Andy have significantly outscored Greg on the season, which of course will be that tiebreaker in the event that is needed. Miles, a big win this week to firm up his playoff position and there's the 5 seed. Bill, currently sitting in the 6 seed at 5-6, but look at this. The Chase Pack, Team Merrill, and myself all at 4-7. Points scored, we're starting to lag Bill a little bit, but we all have Miles. So if we can make a move here, maybe still steal one of these playoff spots from us. Todd, 2-9. I'm sorry to say, Todd mathematically eliminated from the playoffs this season. Looking at week 9 in the LFFL, we have 5 teams with a winning record in this league. All 5 of the winning teams are playing the 5 teams with a losing record. What that means is we could have a lot of separation, or the standings get real close, real fast. Eric, 9-2, taking on Josh at 4-7. These 2 teams played the highest scoring game of the season back in week 3, 206 tie, which ultimately Eric won in the tiebreak. Eric has won 4 straight games, while our defending champion Josh has lost 3 of his last 4. Not looking good for Josh, but the saving grace for Josh does hold the 15-14 series lead between these 2 teams. Andy at 7-4 taking on Matt at 4-7. Andy was a 155-141 winner in week 3 over Matt, but Matt holds the series lead of 21-18 over Andy. Phil, 7-4, taking on Todd at 2-9. First meeting between these 2 longtime rivals right here. Phil has a massive 33-18 lead in their series in a game he could desperately use against Todd. And then finally, Miles, 6-5, taking on my 4-7 squadron. Miles beat me way back in week 2, 159-115, currently riding a 2-game winning streak as well. However, I do hold a career 8-2 lead in the series between the 2 of us. Finally, your LFFL primetime matchup. Big one here for both of these teams. As I mentioned earlier, Greg's point scored isn't great. So Greg's avenue to the bye week really involves winning a lot of games here to the finish line. Bill, currently sitting 6 seed at 5-6, but with 3 teams directly just 1 game back of him, Bill could definitely use some wins coming down the stretch. Bill beat Greg badly back in week 2, 174-102, but after a kind of a rough start to the season, Greg had a 6-game winning streak in the middle of the year. However, has lost his last 2 games. Bill, on the other hand, has won 3 straight as he tries to make that playoff push. Was it 2-6? It's all the way up to 5-6. Greg holds a 27-24 series lead, but Fantrax picking Bill to win. Likes the way Bill's been playing recently. We'll see if Fantrax knows what they're doing this week. Good luck to both of my friends right there. LFFL2, Andy and I play the nail biter of the week. We went down to the 4th quarter last night. Patrick Mahomes with the rock, a chance to drive down, win the game. Would also have beaten Andy if the Chiefs go out and win that game. But Andy, at the end of the day, Eagles defense stands firm. Andy with a 2-point win over me, and it means big things in the standings as Andy still only has 1 loss on the season, moves to 10-1. But hot on his tail, look at this, 14 gigawatts, Eric Warner. That's right, I need to go back to the future, doing just fine in the present. Moves to 9-2 with a 1-point win over the Merrill brothers. Woo! These 2 teams are pulling away. We had Phil, 4-point win over Bill. Greg, a convincing win over Miles. And Sean, a 9-point win over Todd. So look at these standings. Andy, 10-1. Eric, 9-2. Then a huge gap down in the 6-5 packet. Phil, Miles, Kelly Kapowski. That would be Greg. And look at this. Sean, Bill, Todd, all at 4-7, in danger of being mathematically eliminated next week. I am already essentially mathematically eliminated at 3-8. I guess I could win all my games. Andy could lose all his games. Everyone else could lose all their games. I'm out. Merrill Brothers also joining me in the out category. But look at what is coming up this week. 10-1 Andy, taking on 9-2 Eric. What a battle. This is very exciting stuff right here. 2 high-scoring teams in the league. 2 best records in the league. Andy won their earlier game. If Andy goes ahead and wins this week, he has tiebreaker over Eric and a 2-game lead. However, if Eric wins this week, they're tied. They've split their season series. We'll go to points scored, and you can see their points scored is very close. And if Eric wins this week, it'll be even closer. Cool stuff this week. Very excited to see it. In other action, in the peons, in the second division action, I'm taking on Greg. Miles is taking on Bill. Merrills are taking on Sean. Phil taking on Todd. But this league really looks like it's coming to Andy and Eric this year. Can one of them steal the victory this week? LFFL 3, congratulations to Greg. Told you on the What to Watch for show, he needed 7 points from Travis Kelce. He got 9. Pulls out the win over Sean. It's a huge game for Greg. Gives him and Todd, who also won this week, a 2-game lead for the bye with just 3 weeks to play. Much more important for Greg because his point scored is a lot. Isn't quite as good as Todd's, but both teams look real good right now. Partially because Matt Brennan was able to beat my team. I was only a game behind both. Now I am 2 games behind both with Matt Brennan's win. Bill beat Miles. We had Todd beat Matt, as I earlier referenced. Eric beat up on Nate. Phil, the win over Andy. So look at your standings. Todd and Greg, as I say, a 2-game lead. But look at this. Greg is actually being outscored by 6 teams in the league so far this year. So Greg needs to keep winning if he wants to keep that bye position. We have a cluster of teams at 7-4. Myself, Eric, Bill, all at 7-4. All real strong scoring teams right here. If Eric and I get some wins together, we're in real good shape with our points scored. Miles at 6-5 currently holds a 60 based on points scored. Matt Brennan just 8 points behind him. Phil languishing a little bit on points, but also at 6-5 has a chance. Those 8 teams, 6 of those 8 teams will be playoff teams because Sean, Andy, Matt, and Nate are all pretty much out of it at this point. We have got 2 great games on the slate in this league. 9-2 Greg taking on 7-4 Casey. 9-2 Todd taking on 7-4 Bill. What does that mean? Bye weeks can be over and people being on bye at the end of this week if things shake out right. However, 7-4 Chase Pack can absolutely get within a game of somebody for the bye week if these things turn out right. We'll see what happens. Eric taking on Andy, so hoping to get a win this week. In other action, got Miles taking on Matt. We have Matt Brennan taking on Sean. We have Phil taking on Nate. So those 3 teams are going to be heavy favorites in their games, looking to improve their marks on the season. LFFL 4, congratulations to my good friend Bill Berardi. His first main slate win of the year, his 13th overall win. Solid and respectable, 164.88 points this week. Miles came in second. Jeremy came in third. Nate came in fourth. Why do I tell you that? Because that's what happened on Thursday Night Football. Miles came in second. Jeremy came in third. Nate came in fourth. So they're getting points this week. Let's get your Monday night game. Eric is able to win the showdown over here. Eric's league-leading 5th showdown win of the season in his 12th win of his career, which is tied for the most showdown wins since we started doing this 3 years ago. Phil came in second. I was able to take third. And what that means for your standings is Eric continues to lead the way at 117. I'm at 109. Greg's at 107. Miles and Phil still within shouting distance in 4th and 5th. Greg, we have a Thanksgiving game this week. Greg has your highest Thanksgiving total ever, 195.12 back in 2020. I have been able to win the last 2 Thanksgiving slates. So the Thanksgiving slate is in there. Don't be fooled. There are 2 Thursday games. Pick the one with 3. The link is in the email. Pick the one with 3 games. That's the one that counts. There's a showdown in there because it gives these auto contests. I hate it. Can't get rid of it. I've tried. I'm sorry. Thanksgiving, make sure you get the one with 3 games. We have a Sunday main slate this week. We also are going to have a Monday Night Football single game slate. LFFL 5, Sean and Greg, huge wins this week to stay 1 game up over the Chase Pack. Greg was able to demolish me. Sean, a 19-point win over Phil. They are still in playoff position. Eric and Bill played what was essentially an elimination game. Eric is the one eliminated. Bill still alive in the playoff hunt. Andy and Miles also able to pick up wins this week. But look at your standings. Phil has clinched his playoff spot. Greg and I are essentially in given our strong points scored because Bill would have to outscore us by 200 and 300 points respectively to make the playoffs. That is not happening. However, he still does have an outside chance at Sean. What he needs is Sean to lose. Sean is playing high scoring Greg, so that might happen. And then he needs to outscore Sean by about 100 points. Is it likely to happen? No, but he's still alive. Unfortunately, Eric, Miles, Andy, despite being 5 and 6, all will miss the playoffs this year. LFFL 6, we have a new leader. Matt Brennan is taken to the top spot, jumps over Greg this week. Congratulations to Matt Brennan. Phil hangs in 3rd, Nate hangs in 4th. Phil ended the August. We have a great battle this August league. They keep flipping back and forth. Nate had taken a lead. Phil was back in the lead over there in August. Very, very cool stuff over there. LFFL 7, the scores are wrong. I do not know why the scores are wrong. I waited, I refreshed. They have not run right. Phil is going to be your elimination. I know this is showing Eric as your elimination. Eric scored almost 30 points last night, and Phil got 0. So Eric will move on. Phil will be eliminated. Phil has been in the top 5 in 3 of the 5 seasons he has done this. That is really impressive. In a 15-team league to be top 5 3 different times in 5 years is awesome. His 39 weeks survived are the 4th most of all time, only bettered by Josh, Bill, and Miles. One of those people is still surviving right now. Bill, still surviving. Your champion will be one of 4 teams: Thomas, Nate, Eric, or Bill. LFFL 8, man, Greg getting ever closer to lead, just 7 points back after another 200-point week, a second straight one. Matt Brennan hanging out in third, but certainly there's a little separation right now between myself and Greg and the rest of the field. And then finally, LFFL 9, early results right here. Todd is in a massive hole to Bill 1. Bill, a huge 236.5 outing this week. Awesome stuff. And what I didn't think was a super high-scoring week, crushing Todd at this point. Jeremy, locked in a close one. Of course, Jeremy upset me already once. He upset my 2 seed. Trying to do the same thing. I do have a 9-point lead over Jeremy at this point. So hop in those DraftKings contests. Thanksgiving one. Remember, 3-game one. Link is in the email. So I will talk to you later. I hope your Thanksgivings go well, both fantasy football wise and real life wise. Hope you have a great weekend. Go Dolphins, and I'll talk to you soon.